And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Okay, we're having a lot of issues today. For some reason, everything is going haywire. If you just bear with me, I really am trying to make all of this work. Oh my gosh, what in the world is going on? San Diego, Carmen. Here we are. Episode 170, I don't know, 5, I guess. I lost count of this show that has been going on for a couple years now. You thought I would skip another week after taking 2 weeks off? Well, you thought wrong, baby. Hear myself, turn myself up in the earphones. We're back. Let me just go ahead and... Oh, crap. I need to time this too. This is what happens when you don't do things right the first time. Now you know. Knowing's half the battle. Let's get on. We have a lot of stuff to get to. CBS All Access is about to become Paramount Plus. CBS All Access, as we know, was going to be renamed and rebranded as something that Paramount can actually use. Now, here's the thing. I think CBS All Access was the perfect name. All access to the CBS stuff, to what CBS owns. CBS, before recoupling with Viacom again, the network CBS owned were Showtime and Pop TV and you know the other brands. I think that's the only other two. But now that they're Viacom CBS, I mean CBS. People know CBS. No one knows Viacom. So it would. I understand that people know Paramount more than they know CBS. But I mean, come on. Anyway, this comes from Variety, written by Cynthia Littleton. So it's going to become Paramount Plus, and it's more or less the same thing that it is now. Just the branding is just going to be a little bit stronger. I don't know. All these Plus names, you know, let Disney have Hulu Plus and Disney Plus. When Apple TV announced Apple TV Plus, I thought it would be better just for Apple TV, like just for it to be Apple TV. Insinuating that there's more with this Plus thing. And that's the only reason that I can name that they're doing that. You know, any company would name a streaming service, you know, brand name Plus, because it says that there's more to what they have to offer than the normal. I don't know, but HBO Max is a better name. Like that's a different name. That's a different name. When Hulu was Hulu Plus, when it was Hulu and Hulu Plus rather, that's a different name. And, you know, Disney kind of cornered the market on the Plus branding. Hulu Plus, well, now it's just Hulu. Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. You know, Netflix, that's a memorable name. Hulu's Amazon, even Prime Video is a memorable name compared to Paramount Plus. No one's going to be running out for that. And I understand that both Showtime and CBS All Access are doing well. They have CBS All Access is believed to have a subscriber base of about 8 million, but it's crazy that they think they do this. Okay, there's a reboot of the show The Game and a spinoff of Girlfriends that are going to be on the network, on the streaming platform apparently. Interesting. Well, The Game sucked after it moved to BET, so I can only assume that this revival is not going to be as good as the original 3 seasons. Speaking of streaming services, Peacock now has 15 million subscribers. This comes from CNBC, written by Alex Sherman. NBC Universal's Peacock streaming service has 15 million signups. Comcast CEO Brian Roberts says. Now, this is no surprise. This is a 50% increase in 6 weeks. Holy cow! NBC Universal has a goal of reaching 30 million to 35 million active Peacock accounts by 2024. Now, this is very interesting because Peacock is free, and even if you have a passing glance at television, if you have a passing like of television, you should pick up Peacock. It's free. You should pick up any free service. Tubi, it's free. Crackle, free. Pluto TV, free. And yes, those come with commercials and not the greatest shows, but they're, you know, more often than not, they're going to have the shows and the movies that that Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and HBO and the rest don't have. I was reading something on the New York Times last week, and they referenced the Richard Pryor film, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, and it stars him and what's his name, Gene here. Oh crap! I guess See No Evil, Hear No Evil is 1989. Not a good movie. It stars Gene Wilder, him and Gene Wilder, and it's their last movie together, I believe. And it did so poorly that they just didn't do any more together. However, very funny, premise. It's a blind guy, Richard Pryor, and a deaf guy, Gene Wilder, and they become friends. And I imagine that's how it was pitched. Just a guy hopped up on coke in 1988 going, how about Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder, a blind guy and a deaf guy become friends? How about that? Then what happens? I don't know. Maybe they find a coin and it's worth a lot of money, and these two people are coming to kill him. This really hot woman who you get to see naked several times. Yeah. That works. It's great. I enjoyed the movie, but it's on Crackle, and I just looked it up on Google, and it was on Crackle and it's free. And yeah, I got to watch commercials every couple of minutes, but who cares? It's I didn't pay a cent for this very crappy movie from 1989, but it's it's a good time. So Peacock again has the premium for $5 and the without, that's with ads, and then without ads for $10. I have free 3 months of Peacock because I think they teamed up with Google, and I got an email and they gave us a free code if you had like a Google Fi or a Google phone or something like that. But I have both, so that's great. Peacock's got some decent shows and some decent movies, and I'm just glad to see the show Code Monkeys surviving without G4. Can't remember G4 coming back. Now, speaking of which, NBC Universal was threatening this past week, and this all happened within a span of a day, to pull its TV apps from Roku amid a fight over Peacock deal terms. Written by Todd Spangler over at The Variety. This is Friday, or this is Thursday, I believe, when I was supposed to record this show. Roku and NBC Universal had an issue over distribution of Peacock, and this sounds familiar because Roku also has an ongoing issue with, HBO Max has an ongoing issue with Roku at this time. These streaming services, they cost a lot of money, but we know they're going to be huge. Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, they're going to make so much money. And when you are a distributor of apps, you want some of that money. So I've mentioned this before, you get paid to have those apps and distribute those apps. And then the streamers themselves, they get paid from us, from people who subscribe. But now it's all about who gets the most share of that money. And so that's what they're fighting about. And Roku, the most popular streaming device in the world, it goes Roku, then probably Apple TV. And then after that, it's like, Chromecast, Android TV, the rest. So this is very interesting. There's a story that happened literally 2 hours ago, and I'm not going to talk about it until this next episode that is supposed to shoot on Thursday because because I'm recording this very late. And so Roku, the dispute went on for a little bit, and there's a back and forth. So NBC Universal was going to remove the NBC app and Telemundo and all those other apps that they have that they own. But then they reached a deal on Friday afternoon that Peacock was going to land on Roku, and there's going to be a renewed agreement. So there you go. All of that happened for them. So good for them to reach those type of deals. But Roku has positioned itself as the strongest streaming device company out there. I believe they have an IPO. I would not doubt it if they they do. So Roku is in the perfect place to demand more money. But these apps, HBO is huge. HBO is gigantic. So it only stands to reason that they do that. And then same thing for NBC Universal. They know that Peacock is big. It's free and it's NBC. So people are going to download it anyway. Let's cover one more thing. EA is rebranding its subscription apps. This comes from VentureBeat. Games Beat, VentureBeat. Electronic Arts doubles down on EA Play brand with EA Desktop app, written by Dean Takahashi. Electronic Arts is launching a new EA Desktop app, the beta version of its revamped Origin online gaming service that EA calls a next-generation PC gaming platform. But it's one more app among many in the subscription-loving video game business today. EA rebranded to EA Play, not EA, but EA's gaming service was now rebranded to EA Play. You pay $5 a month, you get access to old EA games. So last year's Madden, last year's FIFA, last year's NBA Live, I think if one came out, they were the year prior. Most of the recent Need for Speeds, it's like just 20 games, which is not bad. $5 a month, $60 a year, something like that, or $50 a year. But now it was announced that the subscription service on the Xbox is going to bleed into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So now there's one gaming subscription service on Xbox, and you get all the EA games. You get it's everything that EA Play offered. But now they also rebranded EA's streaming gaming subscription service as EA Play on the Xbox for some reason. It's annoying. Anyway, but this is a good move for EA. I think this is something that's going to create, and I guess the CEO said create less friction, is what I just skimmed over. The new app promises a faster experience, fewer clicks to jump back into your favorite games, and playtime controls. Blah, blah, blah. You should find it easier to install games, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the EA Senior Vice President, Michael Blank. What's his last name? That was a good joke. Said in an interview with GamesBeat, the EA Desktop is being designed to deliver a frictionless and socially connected experience that is faster for players to get into their games. So now they're all about usability. But this is just and so on the PC version of this was called Origin, and Origin is going away, obviously. But this is just another way for people to have subscriptions, and and there's going to be crossplay apparently. Oh, interesting. Okay, it'll do its best to do crossplay, cross progression, and cross generation play on every game if it can. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, I believe, has 15 million subscribers. What I saw today, the 21st of September. Do you remember? Demi Adijuibe's 21st September video came out today. I did not know. I even forgot. And I watched it. It was such a great thing. And you should watch those every single year. This year, he's doing it to raise money for 4 different organizations. It's great. Go donate. $50,000. Any Hoosers, that's the goal, $50,000. So, but 15 million subscribers for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. There's going to be Sony announced for PS5, there's the PlayStation Collection where you get a collection of 20 games for a subscription price. We don't know how that's going to be, if that's going to be baked in with PlayStation Plus or not. And then also there's PlayStation Plus, Xbox Live Gold, and Nintendo Switch Online. All of them are subscription services. All of them offer you free games. For Nintendo, and to the very least, you don't get to own those. But this is taking gaming into an area that's it's a great deal for gamers, but it looks like it's a bad deal for developers. If you don't own the game, used games and buying and owning games are great because you can go back and play GTA 4 and just run around and blow things up. You can go back and play Crash Bandicoot, Mario stuff, but subscribing to a service, playing a game, for a certain amount of hours. Testing it out is great, but then keeping a game and just keeping it on the service, I don't know. It always it just seems like it's a bad deal for the developer in the long run. But they like it, people like it, and I like it, so it's great. But yeah, we'll see how EA's Gambit plays off. Listen, we'll take a little break. When we come back, we'll do the rest of this episode. Here we go. Going to the break now, baby. And oh my God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Keep it in. Keep it in. The microphone keeps tipping over. I do believe because it doesn't have anywhere to lean. And there we go. I saved it. Welcome back to the Constitutionals podcast. Going to restart my clock right here. Here we go. Okay. Let's continue on with this story that we have down here. DC Universe is going to rebrand. Oh, God. Sorry, I got a little hot there. DC Universe is going to rebrand as comic subscription service. All shows are moving to HBO Max. Now, we knew this was going to happen. As soon as they said Stargirl was going to air on no. As soon there are a lot of factors went into this. One, HBO Max was announced. As soon as it was announced last, summer, I think it was early fall, late summer. As soon as it was announced, I knew right then and there that everything from DC Universe, the app, was going to move over to HBO Max. And then when Stargirl, when they broke their exclusivity contract with, when DC didn't re-up with Netflix, that was another telling sign. They were gonna start putting their the CW shows that were heading towards Netflix on HBO Max, and then when Stargirl premiered, and it premiered on DC Universe on Monday, and then on Wednesday it aired on the CW. That was the nail in the coffin right there. And then also the new Harley Quinn show. I mean, not the new Harley Quinn. The second season of Harley Quinn, the cartoon, and Doom Patrol. They both moved to HBO Max, and no one knew about it until they premiered. So, or around the same time they premiered. So, this is like a telling sign. We knew this was going to happen. So Harley Quinn was renewed for season 3. Doom Patrol was renewed as well. And Stargirl is going to become a CW original. Titans is going to head over to HBO Max at some point, hopefully soon, because I've only seen 3 episodes. And I would love to finish off that show. And then at some point, I can only imagine that every other thing, Young Justice, I can only imagine that every other thing on there is going to move over. It's going to be great to have a place to watch the Justice League cartoon again, and Batman Beyond, and the Static Shock, and the other shows that I've only been able to watch since they left Netflix or wherever streaming service they were on, since the day they left. Because nobody wants to watch DC Universe. But now DC Universe is going to become DC Infinite, I believe. Universe Infinite. And it's going to be a comic book subscription service. So I believe 6 months after a comic book has premiered in the print version, it'll head over there to digital. I think it's still $8 a month. That's a good deal. Marvel has Marvel Unlimited, and it's a similar service where it's a couple bucks a month, and you get to read a majority of Marvel comics. But I really wish that these companies would just admit what we know is going to happen. Eventually Nintendo is going to come out with a Nintendo Switch Pro, or like a slightly upgraded version of the Switch. And but they're gonna be like, oh no, it's the old Switch is fine, and we're gonna continue building for it, making it. Or I'll use it like this: when the Switch came out, the Nintendo 3DS was on its deathbed, and the Switch is Nintendo basically saying, hey, we can do home gaming and on the go gaming, and we can do it with one thing. and they tried, for the past 3 years. Yeah, this is going to be great. We're gonna put games out on the 3DS. We're gonna keep updating it. And then just last week they said, "Oh, we're not producing the 3DS anymore. We're not making any games. No other games will come out." Why? Why do that? The people who are going to buy a 3DS are going to buy a 3DS. They want to play Pokemon Sun and Moon. They're going to do it. They're the me's. They're going to buy. They're going to have it. Over there and everything. It just doesn't make sense to. And I get it. It's a whole thing of money, but who cares? Next up, another GMA third hour revamp. This comes from Variety, written by Brian Steinberg. TJ Holmes joins Amy Robach as co-anchor of ABC's GMA 3. So earlier this year, late last year, it was announced that the third hour of Good Morning America was going to be co-hosted by Michael Strahan and I don't know the woman's name, Sarah Hines. I knew it was Sarah something. It launched in 2018 for Michael and Sarah, and it was a way it was called GMA Day. And then Strahan and Sarah, and then Strahan, Sarah, and Kiki, because Kiki Palmer joined as well. And it never became the show it should have been. It was because the Today Show did the same thing with Megyn Kelly's hour, which I've been thinking a lot about Megyn Kelly lately because she has a new project coming out, but also she escaped Fox and went to went to NBC, and obviously didn't pan out NBC, but I don't know what the end goal of that was, nor do I know the end goal of that sentence. But the third hour of GMA and Megyn Kelly's Today Show were supposed to be these audience-driven. They have audiences inside of the studio, and they're going to sit there and talk and everything, and then. The pandemic hit, and the GMA's third hour with Sarah Strahan and Kiki, it became, they obviously couldn't do that show anymore, and they didn't know when they were going to return to the studio, and obviously something has to get the axe, and it's going to be the superfluous hour in Good Morning America. So now, having brought back, and I did a News Time story about the third hour of Good Morning America. Don't know why I said that twice. ABC News is going to start doing a more hard news focused version of GMA 3. And then they're going to take that hour and air that on ABC News, on its ABC News apps. I believe Amy's going to stay on. Yeah, Amy is staying on. Strahan is not, which frees him up to go home. But he's not. He's got football duties. I don't know why. This guy is one of the hardest working people. And it's him, Anderson Cooper, and Ryan Seacrest. It used to be Chris Hardwick too, but he's not doing anything anymore. But if I was friends with Michael Strahan and Ryan Seacrest, I would truly be worried about them. I got a notification. I thought it was a text. No, it is from Indeed. So I look forward to seeing what this third hour of GMA is going to be. Hopefully, it's something that is a little bit more sustainable. Everyone's back in the studio now. Even Kimmel's going back to the studio. So all the news anchors are in the studio. So this should be, I don't want to say easy, but it should be easy for them to do. You just talk to the camera, do stories, and it doesn't have to be the pop stories of the morning that GMA already does. I've already said this before, and I'll say it again. CBS This Morning is the best morning news show. It's the black coffee version. It's for the people who don't want sugar, who don't want cream. They just get their coffee, pour it in the cup, and they drink it, and they love the bitter, dark chocolate taste, and they deal with it. Versus, the I need three shots of cream and just 18 teaspoons of sugar of Today Show and GMA. So there you go. And lastly, but not leastly, there it is. Lastly, but not leastly. This comes from IndieWire, written by Eric Kahn, Alfonso Cuarón, on the disappointing Oscar inclusion rules and supporting a rising Indian filmmaker. So this is a little interview that they did. And I'm not going to bore you with the details, mostly because I have not read it. But Cuarón is a staunch winner of the Oscars. But now he has mixed feelings about the new inclusion standards that the Academy has set. So I did last week's episode. It was all about the inclusion standards from the new inclusion standards for Best Picture that the Academy has put out. If you want to know those, Google it. Or listen to last week's episode. Cuarón has something to say. This is a quote. Everybody is trying to figure out ways of making more diverse cinema. The interesting thing is that it's not coming naturally. Everybody has to respond to outside pressures. That's a little bit disappointing that it needs to go through those rules and regulations for things to happen when it should just be a natural process of societal evolution that apparently is not happening. That's a wonderful take on it, and it should be. It's more in line with what I always think is, we should be able to do this without. We should be able to have a trans character in Supergirl without it being a big news story on all the major outlets, or a trans actor, not a trans character. Well, a trans character too, but a trans actor and a trans character who are the same person on Supergirl. We should be able to have women directors, people with disabilities, people of color, all that stuff, without it being a big deal. However, we are in a point that it needs to be forced, and if it's not going to be genuine, it's been what, 70 years, 92nd. So wait, no, the Emmys are 92. It's been 100 years. It's been 100 years. Let's just say that, for these movies and televisions and all the, for these things to exist, and the Grammys and the Tonys and all this stuff. And yet it takes a rap musical about Hamilton for white people to see that there are people of color who can act in the same roles as white people. It shouldn't, a Black Panther, as much as I dislike superhero movies, Black Panther, it shouldn't take Black Panther to have, until Black Panther to have an actor of color who plays a major superhero. It shouldn't take all of that. And I don't care if you're following a template for the comic book or not, or for the book for that matter. It shouldn't, you shouldn't care. It shouldn't be a thing that Star Wars, that John Boyega now has a disdain for Star Wars and Disney because Disney doesn't know how to write black characters. I mean, or characters of color, because he was standing up for the rest of the people in the movies too. So I mean, it's just insane. And if you don't get it, then you're not along for the ride. Now, Cuarón also has a more specific way of support filmmaking from backgrounds other than his own. He's executive producing an Indian director, Chaitanya Tamnani. The movie's name is The Disciple, and that was the director whose name I butchered. But not everybody's doing that. Cuarón is a person of color himself, so he's able to do that, or he's willing to do that, but it's not, and God forbid, I love Quentin Tarantino, but Quentin Tarantino, Scorsese, Greta Gerwig, these are people that are not going to automatically support people of color. And it's a shame that they're not going to. But, Cuarón is in a position where he can do that, and he can tell his peers to do the same thing. Michael B. Jordan's the only one doing that. Ava DuVernay is the only one doing that. But everybody else is just kind of in their own bubbles. And it sucks. So there you go. Listen, that's it for today, because still have to, oh my God, the trash valet people are just out there rolling their carts around. And so that's it. All I have for today. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see interviews with your favorite people, your favorite comedians, as well as some stuff that's coming up that I worked on. I'll talk about. I can't talk about it. Dang it. I'll talk about next week in next week's episode. Not the episodes coming out this week, but week after next. I'll mention it. Or, maybe I'll mention it this week. Who cares? And you want to see a video version of this show, head to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. You can see me sitting here in my jammers. What else? Also on youtube.com/cpluscomedy is the premiere show News Time, which is a weekly news show where I take one story and I dissect it down to its little bits. This week's episode was about, I sure as crap do not know. I did a parody of Bill Maher's New Rules, so that was pretty fun. This episode is about the Academy's rules. God dang it. The thing I just talked about, the Academy's new rules and all that stuff for diversity in the big picture and all that stuff. Yeah. All right. Anyway, thank you for listening. Oh, listen to the Constitutionals podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Tell your friends about it. Subscribe on wherever you get it. Rate and review on Apple Podcasts. All right, we're going. Goodbye.